Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I have the Model R from the Electric Bike Company. And what's special about the bike in this box is that some of you actually got to design what is in here. You might be wondering, what do I mean by you actually designed what was in here? Now, I know many of you missed it because it was kind of a last-minute surprise, but I did a live video where I went on to the Electric Bike Company's website. I went through the process live of selecting a custom color of the bike, the fork, the rims, the tires, was it a single speed, a 7-speed, what battery capacity, basically every option that was available on the Electric Bike Company's website. I did that because I have reviewed a couple of their bikes before. They said, hey, would you be willing to review the Model R for us? But this time I got to actually tell them what I wanted the bike to look like. Now, I didn't want to choose all of the options myself, so instead, that's why we did the live video, so you, the viewers, could decide. So what is in this box, and some of you may not have seen it yet, is the bike that everyone basically put their thoughts and efforts together live on that video and came up with. So let's get it out of the box and see what we've got. I can see inside, everybody, and so far it looks pretty good. There's a couple of boxes right here on the end. Looks like we have the charger. A lock was one of the options during the checkout process. If you're not familiar with the Electric Bike Company, one of the things I really like about them is that the bikes come like 98% assembled. The front wheel is even already on the bike, and that's why the box is so massive. So the only thing you usually have to do is put the handlebars on or turn them straight. So let's try and get the bike out of here. Oops. Here's your first look at the bike. This is a custom color. One of the cool things you can do is select a stock color or something customized like this. For this, we had the forks matching the frame. You could do a different color for the fork. You could do a black fork, yellow fork, red fork. There's a really wide range of options on there. We went with the brown grips and brown seat. But first things first, I need to just basically take these handlebars, turn them upright and then straight, and effectively the bike is ready to ride. It's really easy to set these up. The bike has an adjustable stem, so you can get the handlebars up where you like them, and they're swept back really far. So definitely a comfortable cruiser style. The bike came with a pretty nice instruction manual if you have any questions on the setup, but there's not a whole lot to do. Just tighten the top bolt on the stem, the one on the side, and the 4 in the front like I just did. At this point, really, it's ready to ride. You might want to plug it in, charge it up, but everything is ready to go. That's one of the things I like about the Electric Bike Company is that you can customize a lot of the options all the way down to the frame colors, and then they show up assembled. There probably isn't anything much easier to set up than this, other than maybe some of the folding bikes that come completely assembled and folded in a box. There are a few of those out there, maybe like the Crusader or Avenger models we have, but most bikes take a little bit more assembly work than this. So let's go over the options that you guys picked to have this bike made. I already mentioned the matching seat and handlebar grips, the suspension seat boast underneath the seat. That adds some cushion, makes for a really smooth ride, very comfortable and laid back. The other options we chose were the colors of the rims. We went with kind of this interesting black, and this was a tangerine frame color. Then the brown, I personally was going for black, but you guys voted for brown, so that's what we get. The fenders were an option for the bike, and those could have been different colors as well. The rear rack was an option for the bike. And then there were a few different battery options. The battery that's on the bike is pretty well integrated into the frame. At first glance, you almost don't even notice that it's an e-bike. The one option that you guys didn't want, which I was surprised by, was a front basket. And the front basket had an option for an additional battery for even more range. The other option for the bike was a single speed or a 7-speed. I could see if you wanted a single speed bike, if you only live on flat ground and you just want less maintenance and less parts, that could make sense. But for around here, we definitely want the 7-speed. So there you have it. That's how the bike looks after all the options. Now let's see, how does the bike fare with our normal review process and the 5 things that I like to cover on every bike review. The price of the bike can vary a lot depending on the options that you choose. So for example, if you go with a stock frame color, that's gonna be a few $100s less than a custom color like the one that we've got here. If you don't want a suspension seat post, you know, that's gonna knock $100 or so off the price. The rack, the fenders, the bigger battery that's on here, every little accessory or upgrade is gonna bump the price up. So this bike can be in the $2,000 some range all the way up to well over $4,000, depending on how you spec it out. To judge the price, I just kind of have to go on what is the price based on the specifications that we chose. For this, being a custom frame color, basically putting all the options that we wanted specifically on the bike and having something that shows up basically ready to ride, I think they're priced very reasonably. So I think they deserve an A or an awesome score on the price of the bike for what you get. Now that being said, if you want a bike that has a similar motor, similar battery capacity, can you find something cheaper? Yes, you definitely can. But if you want something customized, you're definitely, at least in my knowledge, not gonna find an electric bike that's cheaper than this. I think they're very well priced for the customization options that you get. Next up, we have the range, and similar to the Bike Tricks bikes, you have a bunch of options for the battery capacity. So I think it's fair to give this an awesome score on the range because you can have a small battery if you need a smaller battery, or you just don't need the bigger battery, I should say. You can bump it up a little bit, or you can bump it up a lot to where you have a decent sized battery in the frame, an extra one in the basket in front. So lots of options. So from me, the electric bike company gets an A or an awesome score on range because there are so many options available. For the warranty, the electric bike company, to my knowledge, has always been very good about service. Their communication with me has been very good, and the feedback that I've heard from others has always been good as well. So if you want somebody that's gonna take care of you, I haven't heard of any major complaints or anything from the electric bike company. So I think service is gonna be very good. As far as the actual warranty terms, it is a 1-year warranty, which I would say is about average. I am finding that most e-bike companies have a 1-year warranty. Very few have a longer warranty, and some have a shorter warranty. For the warranty aspect of the bike, expect the service to be good, but as far as the actual time frame, it's gonna get a neutral score because that is average for what I would expect. For the tech specs on this bike, it's again pretty good. The bike is gonna be a bit more expensive than bikes that might have comparable components, but that's because of the level of customization. So keep that in mind, but for the price, you're gonna get a nice color display. This is the KT LCD 8H, the same that I use on the Bolton Blackbird. So I'm very familiar with the display. I like the functions. I like the features of that a lot because it's very customizable. The bike has Tektro hydraulic brakes, so stopping power, I think, for the amount of power that this bike has. The derailleur shifter is the Shimano Acera, so that's more of the entry budget level components on the shifter and derailleur. Overall, the components are very good, they're very reliable. For the price, however, there's nothing that screams out to me as far as just being extra extraordinary and just completely awesome. So because there's nothing that just screams amazing value as far as the components, I'm gonna give it a neutral score because I do feel like you could spend less and get the same components, but you're not gonna get an awesome customized bike like this one. For that lower price, you're just gonna get some generic off-the-shelf bike. Now, I suppose a disadvantage to having the bike so fully assembled out of the box is that the battery isn't fully charged. So I'm not feeling the power as much as I should because the battery's pretty low. So I do need to go plug it in, but I got a little bit of a feel for the motor and the power that it's got. I'm going to tentatively give the power an A or awesome score because this is a quote-unquote 750 watt bike, and it did 750 watts up the hill here just fine. You can turn the power up, which I did a little bit, but I think the battery's too low to really take advantage of it. I think they say on their website like 1250 watts maximum. So that means they're using a bigger controller to get a little bit more power out of this motor than advertised. And I think if the battery was fully charged, I would really see that and be able to feel that difference. But I'm definitely seeing 750 watts on a very low battery. So I think it's gonna perform even better if I get this thing fully charged up. Other than that, it performs the way I would expect because I have reviewed the electric bike company bikes before, and they've always been very good on performance compared to other bikes on the market. The actual performance tends to be better than kind of the typical benchmarks that you see. So I'm very pleased with the bike and how everything turned out. I think it looks great. And the final score is... Now, Electric Bike Company is nice enough that they send these bikes to me free of charge and let me give them away when I'm done with them. So I'm very happy to say that this is gonna be another one of our giveaway bikes. Make sure you're on the Bolton e-bikes email list so you can get notifications about giveaways like this one. We'll be sending out details on that today. If you want to know more about the Electric Bike Company and more of their models, make sure to check out my other video on the Model C.